Leslie and Tania here for MindScapes717. We're laughing because we're always laughing.
Yeah,
and
we are always laughing.
Because we have our nice sake lychee drinks here.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I know. We're
In
loving
our
life
cups.
in our cups. Yes.
Yay.
Don't mind if we do. And today we're being hopeful because we have a port in the background as a we're disappearing at the same time. but because, hey, we're going on a trip coming up soon. And so it is our fondest wish to remind ourselves of the trip.
Just get closer and closer.
Right. So today we're going to start our podcast pretty soon. If I don't screw anything up, remember, I'm technologically challenged.
You're both of us.
So, Tania and I went to a Spanish Heritage Awareness.
Fiesta Fairfax.
That's right, Fiesta Fairfax. And it was raining, cats and dogs, tornado warnings, you name it, flood warnings, it was there. But it wasn't that bad, actually. But everything was held inside of a very, very old courthouse, and so it was packed.
Yeah. Standing
room only. But we got our street tacos.
We did. Oh my god.
And they were good. They were really good.
So good.
And I had the chorizo and steak, and she had steak. I swear that was like the best thing ever. So good.
Very traditional. It was just cilantro and onions, and that's it. It's the best way to have a taco. Only way.
And then we went to get sweet treat, and it was a gluten-free waffle, with gelato. And you had the crepe.
Yeah, I had the crepe with vanilla gelato.
Yeah.
And we posted these things on TikTok and
go
Instagram.
Find it.
It was good.
Yeah, on TikTok, Instagram, please. Even on our Facebook, MindScapes717 group. You can find it. Just look us up. We'll be happy to invite you to our group. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and start our podcast if I can figure all this out. You know me. Sometimes you don't know me. It's okay. We're going to start. Today is all about diagnoses and all sorts of other things like that. So... Hello.
Hi.
It's Leslie and Tania for our 13th episode. Ooh, should we even do a 13th? Maybe we should skip a number.
Okay, I don't know.
13 is such an unlucky number. So maybe we should just call it 14.
We could.
No, that's okay. It's our 13th episode. And, last time we talked about all sorts of different things and culture and diagnoses and things like that. And this time we're going to talk about diagnoses again in a different way. I think we talked about veterans the last time.
We did, because we were talking about PTSD and what that looked like. And right in the spirit of what the month is, the Suicide Awareness Month, we were trying to kind of hit the topics. And I think in the conversations that we had yesterday at this event and in and out of the car, I think it would be important to kind of, because we do say a lot. We say, hey, you don't have to go to a therapist. It's fine. But I think it's enough of a conversation to have about maybe not self-diagnosing. If you know something is wrong, go talk to someone to figure it out. Because best case is probably not as bad as you think. But I think it's important to have these conversations with someone that does know what they're talking about. There's a lot of training that goes into it, and a lot of hours, a lot of things you got to do. And there is a rhyme or reason for it. And for me as a therapist, to hear someone come in and self-diagnose is a little concerning and a little bit disheartening, because it's they'll start the conversation. Well, I saw on social media. No, because that's only 30 seconds to 3 minutes of information that we need almost hours and hours to really figure out.
That's right. We were talking about this after the fiesta we went to in Fairfax, and it was all about Spanish Heritage Month. And we were talking a little bit about how we see so many people coming out self-diagnosing as ADHD or autistic or BPD, you know, either bipolar or borderline, and it's concerning because there's so much misinformation out there, even if it is a well-known therapist. They can be talking about this for a minute, 2 minutes, up to 10 minutes on TikTok, for example. But that doesn't give a full picture of anything. It's you really have to like go through the motions rather than just say, oh, that symptom is familiar and I resonate with that particular symptom, so that must be what I have.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
It really doesn't, right? And I think this is where, and I feel like this was an important conversation to have as we kind of close out the month of September, because there are some things that people are going through. And I think if COVID did nothing else, it really did not only cause this pandemic that we're still getting through, but also like there's mental health stuff. And it's because that's where I saw the uptick in people self-diagnosing, like, well, I heard this and this must be, no. We need to talk about it. We have, I mean, even in therapy, we start off with one diagnosis and it's never that unbelievable to end in another diagnosis down the line. Like, it's not one size fits all, and people sometimes don't even know what's a problem until you talk to someone and figure out that it is a problem. So I think it's very easy for us to assume things. You're allowed to resonate with things. That is very normal. But it doesn't just stop there. There's so much more. And if that resonates, then maybe that's when you go see a therapist and you're like, hey, these things feel familiar. Can we talk about it? Don't come in saying I got this because I saw. Don't do that. Let's not do that, because I think that is too. It's a problem, because then we're not really talking about what the real problem is.
That's exactly right. I mean, there are so many people I know that have gone, and apparently there's an ADHD test you can take online, and if you get the diagnosis from this online test, you can actually take it to a doctor, and that doctor will then prescribe you whatever you need to be prescribed. That is dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. And, you need to make sure that whatever online test you're taking is evidence-based.
But go talk to someone.
Best methods.
Yes.
Yeah. And no matter what diagnosis you have to have something with any type of medication that you take. So even if you're not in a culture that you can go see a therapist or whatever, having a friend to talk to or having someone you trust to talk to while taking any type of medication is your best bet. I mean, this is in other cultures or certain subcultures here in America too. Now, if you are free with insurance and everything else to go see somebody, please do if you are looking for certain diagnoses. And don't forget that it's really important to have those conversations. The thing is, with these self-diagnoses, since this is still September and Suicide Awareness Month, and I'm just going to flat out say Suicide Awareness Month. I'm not going to be afraid to say it. But things can trigger people.
Right.
And anytime you self-diagnose, you can trigger yourself into thinking or believing something that's much worse than it might actually be. So please, if you're feeling some kind of way, we can put information down. I think we have in some of our other podcasts, like mentioning, who you can text for help or call for help or, whatever. So please look those up. You don't necessarily have to talk to someone. You can text with someone if you're much more comfortable doing that.
Yeah. There's a lot of services. Yeah. There's so many things that if you literally Google mental health resources, I mean, there's texting, there's someone virtually, there's a therapist. As a therapist, obviously, I believe in the power of therapy. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't, but it is very harmful. Like, you could cause way more damage by not really figuring out what it is. If you really are struggling this severely, you're not abnormal for it. It's just, what is it that you need? Because if you need medication, sometimes medication is the only thing that's going to get you through. And that, as a therapist, if that's all you could do, then that's all you could do. But you're still talking to a psychiatrist. You're still making sure that you're checking in with someone. Because if you're not ready to talk, then you're not ready to talk. And sometimes talking does make it worse, and that's fine. Stabilize yourself first with medical treatment, and then come see a therapist. But we could say you don't have to, right? Don't waste your time if you're not ready, because it won't work, and you're going to feel disappointed in yourself in the process, and you're not going to trust it. And that's fine.
So let's give like a little tiny example, okay? So the biggest one I can think of is maybe you're hearing something. You're hearing voices, or something's pushing you to do something. And you look it up, you Google it online, hearing voices. And the first thing that pops up on Google is schizophrenia. So you automatically think you're now going through schizophrenia. Uh-huh. But the fact is, there's a lot of things that can happen or that cause the same effect.
Right.
It could be medication that you're already on. It could be schizoaffective disorder, which is something different. It could be OCD. You know, we hear OCD quite a bit, and we all joke about it as a household thing now, right?
Right.
You know, compulsive disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and sometimes with obsessive you know what OCD. My tongue is like flipping over or something. Talking about OCD, it's crazy. But I mean, sometimes anxiety. If you have too much stress or anxiety, or you have OCD with anxiety, there's so many different things and diagnoses that this can come from. But because, you know, the first thing that pops up, your mind automatically says, okay, I resonate with this.
Right.
And it may not be that at all. And what you're doing is causing yourself harm. Your family may become wary of you. You might get on the wrong types of medications. Your life might change because of this type of diagnoses. And it's not helpful to you.
Yeah.
So please, if you're feeling any type of way, there's a whole community out there. We were talking about community earlier. Look at our TikToks. Both Tania and I today went on TikTok and talked about community.
It's just so important.
You are not alone. You may feel alone, but you're not alone. Please reach out.
Yes, because as a therapist, I literally say this all the time, and my clients think I'm joking, but my whole career and my whole work is literally based off of people struggling. This is what we do. We don't have happy people coming in. We don't really have the good stuff until we get to there, and then that's when we can say, you know what? We can move on from this. If there's not another goal, then you can take a break, think about what's going on, use your skills, and move on. But there is a lot to be said about who you have outside of therapy, because I also have clients that come in and don't talk about anything at any point outside of therapy. And then you come to therapy and then you kind of fall apart, and all we're doing is stabilizing. We're not doing any of the work.
Okay, so Tania, since you are working in the field at this moment, can you give another example just to kind of drive it home?
About what?
About someone self-diagnosing.
An example?
Yeah. Not mentioning names or anything, but maybe you have a client that tried to do it with, I don't know.
Oh, I had a lot of teenagers when COVID first started. TikTok got super popular. It was a span of in a month. I had 2 or 3 clients. These are teenagers. We had a phone call and they're like, I think I have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. No, you do not have BPD. Well, it's my emotions that I can't regulate. Well, that's not it. That's not it. Well, we'll have trauma. Again, that is a good foundation, but it's not it. So we had a whole conversation about, I had to bring out the DSM, which is our Bible that we read with criteria. And that's how we diagnose. And I had to read it through them. And they're like, oh, Yeah, no, you don't. But then some of them were like, no, I have all of that. No, you don't. Like, you're just saying yes because for some fucking reason you want this to be true. And I don't understand it. I'm like, nobody wants to walk around with BPD. Nobody's like, oh yeah, I got a borderline personality. I know it looks one way on social media because that's also been one of those pop things right now where everyone is talking about this narcissistic personality or borderline. And it's become almost, I hate saying this because it's not fair, but romanticized. Like, you don't really know what people are suffering when they have these things. Because it does come from trauma, as all personality disorders do. But it's so, like, it's not fun to be like, yeah, I got borderline personality. Like, people are literally stuck in their heads and do not know how to externally deal with things at all. And then people just want to walk around saying this. I'm like, it's not glamorous by any means. And these kids, like, it was driving me crazy when COVID first started. I was like, yeah, you got trauma, but it doesn't mean you got PPD or even narcissistic personality. It's very frustrating. As a therapist, I hate people come in, want to go high, and I'm like, we start at adjustment. If there's nothing overtly extra that we got to talk about.
Attachment.
Yes, that's where we start. And these kids want to fucking go all in personality. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not just kids. I mean, we as adults also go on and we try and go on WebMD or we try and go on
WebMD.
I know. We try and try and figure out things that we're feeling to try and decide what's going on with us, and we have this preconceived notion if we do talk to somebody.
Right.
Culturally, this looks completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Like on an Eastern perspective, this looks completely different. I mean, people may demonize somebody, for going through something that has some totally to do with, stress and anxiety.
Absolutely.
But unable to name that as such because it isn't even in their language. But the best thing that you can do is find a community. And there are plenty of communities out there. Even on TikTok, there are communities out there. There's some good ones.
Just don't jump to conclusions, please. As a therapist, just be safe. If you are struggling this much and you don't feel safe within your body, go to the hospital, go to these mental health resources, and get the help there so that somebody can tell you what's going on. If you have no idea, but you know something is wrong, again, advocate for yourself. You just have to be ready to say, hey, I don't feel safe. I don't have this. I don't know what's going on. Because you're not supposed to. This is why we go through the schooling and the hours and the trainings and the exam for this stupid license. It's a lot of fucking... I hate it. That exam, I have PTSD from it. I couldn't tell you how I took it. I blacked out, dissociated completely, and I never want to go back to that. I drove all the way to Richmond, and I will never do it in my life. Nope. Not at all. I got a lot of stress from that. But I promise you, it is not that difficult to find someone.
No matter where you are in the world.
No, it's just if you don't feel safe, there's a reason. Just find help, please.
And if you don't speak our language and you're using some sort of translation, device or whatever to understand what we're trying to say, you can use that same device, and we can use devices as well,
right?
To get you to the right place. So don't think that language is a barrier. It does not have to be.
No. We got a lot of different cultures. If it's not a therapist that could speak that language, then we will find a way to communicate because
that's right.
It's just not fair. And I know how hard it is. I speaking another language myself, and people very much complaining when they come in speaking Spanish and not be able to find someone to speak Spanish. It's really hard. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of us. It's just not here. Like, it's very interesting. It feels like there's a lot of us that speak Spanish, but not really. Because not a lot of us either work with kids or work with certain populations or whatever.
Right, we have our own niche. Mm-hmm. So we have our own, type of therapy that we do that caters to either just kids or just adults or just those with, bipolar or... So, you have to be very careful. And that I think is something we can talk about next time, is what you would even ask a therapist before you go see them.
Yeah.
Like,
read profiles, please. Like, I love when my clients call and like, I saw this on your profile. And I'm like, yes, see, you gotta read the profiles. Ask for a phone consult before you meet with them for a full intake. Let us
interview them.
Yes, please vet us out, because I be telling my people, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I will curse. I am not your mama. I'm gonna be mean when I gotta be mean. Like, we're not gonna sugarcoat shit. I just don't do that, and I tell them reality based, person centered. No, you don't like it? Okay, bye.
Tanya's a no-nonsense badass.
I just can't. Mental health for me, I just can't imagine me sitting there and you love me and not be safe. But I prefer you to hate me than to be safe. Safety for me is too serious for me to be like, oh, I just want to be nice to you. Fuck you. You're sick? All right, go to the hospital. We ain't playing this shit. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just not safe. Your life is so important. Even though in that moment it doesn't feel like it, it really is. And I know we've talked about this in past ones, and this is going to be always a conversation we can always come to. And there is a lot of selfish like words and conversation around this topic, but just take care of yourself. Like, there's so much more after this moment, right? And I know it's so hard to see that light at the end of this very long tunnel, but give yourself a chance to talk to someone. I mean, we put in a lot of hours to get to where we are, and it's not easy, but we do know that it's worth it, and we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't. At least for me.
You're worth it.
Oh, God, absolutely.
You're worth it. So
absolutely.
That's going to be all for today on the podcast here. MindScapes717. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and also email us, mindscape717@gmail.com. You know, if you have questions, if you need help, even if it's in a different language, we don't care. We'll figure it out and find a way to help. Interact with us. Send us questions. We'd be happy to see you. Look at us up on Facebook as well, MindScape717 group. And join us. We look forward to hearing from you. Anyhow, toodaloo.
Bye.
Okay. The podcast is over.
Yep.
We're safe.
Are we?
No.
Are we? Are we?
Not when we're drinking sake. Sake.
It is so good.
It's lychee flavored sake, so it is so good, people.
It's never gonna compare to what we had.
And I know
in North Carolina.
Yeah.
This was like 2.5 years ago,
and we're still
remembering. We're reminiscing this fucking lychee.
We went to Kill Devil Hills, and we stayed there. And it was like right after the pandemic kind of
March of 2021.
Was it? So it was still kind of during the
it was very much
pandemic. And we went there anyway. We had to clean everything before.
Everything was sanitized. We had masks. We were being safe.
Yeah, but we went there and we went to this Japanese hibachi place, and they had we ordered a bottle thinking it was like the small sake bottle
because that's how it usually is here.
And they brought out this.
But this lady was
big honking bottle.
Are you sure you want the bottle? We were like, girl, what you talking about? It's gonna
we're gonna have the bottle.
She walks in with like this big. We were like, oh,
it was bigger than a wine bottle.
It was. She was like, you sure? Just you two?
Oh my God.
Girl, put it down.
Oh yeah,
put it down and walk away.
We snapped that up. We
did, but we ate as much as we drank, so it was fine.
It was great.
It was a buffet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was.
But I tell you what, that was like the best sake we have ever had. We've never found it anywhere else.
And we've tried lychee stuff.
So if you know what this is, Please send it to. Please let us know the name of it so we can find it ourselves, because we didn't like snap a picture of that. We should have at the time.
I don't know if we did. I'm gonna have to look back on my pictures because we just talk about it.
It was so good.
It was the best.
Anyway, so now we crave it and we try and find stuff that's similar. So I got this lychee sake, and it's not the same.
No, but it's good.
But it's very
nice.
light and refreshing and strong.
Yes, sake.
Really strong.
It's so strong.
Anyway, so I guess that's it for today.
Yeah.
And our 13th episode.
This is crazy.
And we're still going.
We're going to be on the road next week.
That's right. Look for us. We're going to be in Pittsburgh, and we're actually I think we'll do something that shows the real Pittsburgh.
We're going to have to.
Yeah. So we'll do a bunch of videos.
We'll get over ourselves and do it in public.
And we have such a hard time with this stuff.
We do. But I posted everything yesterday, so that was hard too, but we did it. We did all of it. Even my fat ass eating tacos. It's on there.
Yep. We did it.
We had tacos, we had ice cream.
But you had to find that on TikTok and Insta.
Yes.
Maybe we can do like a whole thing and put it on YouTube as well.
What do you mean?
Maybe we can like do a collage of all the pictures or videos and just kind of figure out.
Oh, and to put like a song.
Out a way. Yeah, exactly. That would be fun. But anyway,
that'd be fun. Okay.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh, we're gonna be doing a foodie tour. I mean, we're just gonna do it ourselves, but it's gonna be a tour.
Always. Fuck. All of it.
And yeah, so maybe we can just do that collage and put it on here with a YouTube type of thing. But we'll figure that out, and we'll hope to see you. Remember to give us some comments.
We have high hopes. We have high hopes. We'll try.
Yeah.
We'll try.
But anyhow, we really do care about people.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
We want to make sure that you know that there is a community of people, of helpers, that you can find them if you open your eyes. And maybe open your ears too, you know, because that's what we are. And we hope to at least connect you to other community helpers. If you
please feel free to reach out to us. Like, I know Leslie always says, email us, reach out. Like, legit do it. Like, if there's any questions, if there's any semblance of a question that feels like you don't know how to approach it, then just ask us.
And we're not just talking about those who need help. If you're a therapist, or if you're an author that wants to connect with us, you know, especially on well-being and resilience and healthy, you know, harm reduction type of stuff, we'd love to have you. We'd love to, you know,
I'm always looking for therapist people,
or have you on with us or interview you. So get in touch.
And then you could do it for your work too, right? The health
That's absolutely
care
right.
stuff.
Yes, so I do a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I do a well-being for healthcare professionals. So we're ready and able to do so, and we want to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Anything that can help others is so important.
God, absolutely. We wouldn't be doing either of our jobs if we didn't care. So
exactly.
Hands down, just come find us if you need to.
Exactly. Until next time, see ya.